Nah, it's a hard name to pronounce, but yeah, it could go either way. However your accent is, a lot of people can't do the L, but it's cool.
All right, fair enough. All right, and the second big question, of course, how difficult was it for you to get time away from the show to come have a fight week? I mean, that's got to be a difficult decision, right?
Yeah, I had to put priorities first. I was like, I don't know, I don't want to take a week off, but it was difficult. But talking with the team, talking with my investors, they're like, all right, we'll give you this week.
Talk about this year, man. It's been kind of a crazy one for you, like a good year in some ways, not in others, right? So how would you kind of recap what it's been up to this point?
Honestly, it's been an amazing year. It's been healthy, been able to get considered my fourth fight of the year. Started an analyst job, got into the rankings. I started the year unranked. My goal was to get into the rankings, and now I'm fighting number 5 in the world, so I could end at number 5 in the world. So been a huge year for me. Plan on putting the stamp on it by winning this Saturday.
Was it difficult to kind of, I guess, keep that positive mindset or whatever, after the no contest? I know that was just a weird time for you, right?
Yeah, it was hard. It was one of those things where I always wanted it. I was like, man, let me get this fight. I knew I was going to have to fight one of these top guys on short notice. And then 2 weeks after a fight, I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And then, you get there, your first main event, you're expecting to be a different way. And then it happens like that, and it was crazy. It was heartbreaking, but it's one of those things now that I use as motivation. It's like I'm telling myself, think back to how I felt in that night, how everything went wrong, and how heartbroken I was. So I'm not going to let that happen again this Saturday.
Nice. Talk about this matchup with Steven. I saw he's been around the game for a long time. He's been a top contender. I mean, what did you think that this was a matchup that was put together?
Yeah, I don't like him at all. He's a hidden jerk. Now I'm playing, but no, he's such a cool guy. He's a respected guy. A lot of guys, there's not a guy that's gonna hate him. If you're gonna sit there and try to trash talk him, that you're faking it. So he's the guy I respect, and it's a guy that I've always watched. And I fought on his undercard when he fought Tyron Woodley for the title. So I've experienced it. I've seen it, and it's just gonna be an honor to beat a guy like that, and a guy that that he has the respect of everybody around him. So to beat a guy like that, that you earn that. Like I didn't get the respect I deserved when I beat Damian Maia. I had still a lot of people, well, you didn't do this, or Maia's 40-something years old, blah, blah, blah. But it's like he's only lost to Gilbert Burns, and he's also even mounted Gilbert Burns in that fight, took his back in that fight, and he didn't do none of that to me. So it's like, all right, well, I just beat the best grappler in the division. Now I'm going to beat the best striker in the division. Then what could you say after that?
I was going to say, the two, I mean, those are two of like the biggest specialists in their field, right? I mean, how difficult is it to prepare for that? Because I got to imagine the training camp, does it not even resemble the last training camp, or is it more important to kind of keep consistency?
No, we just did the exact opposite of whatever we did for Maia, we did for Wonderboy. No, but honestly, it worked out perfectly because the people I have around me, the team I have around me is they're very good at what. Nobody's ever going to be the perfect Wonderboy, but working with Ignacio Bahamondes for the whole Maia fight, he's shooting takedowns on me, and he's not a wrestler, and he's pulling guard on me. So this time he got to open up, he got to have fun, play with his kicks, play with his hands, and I got to see different styles. Maybe he does something that Wonderboy can do. Maybe he's a young 23-year-old whippersnapper. He's going to throw something at me, a jumping tornado kick, and maybe Wonderboy can't do that anymore. But I'll be ready for it all, and it worked out perfectly because, we trained for a specialist in Maia, and the camp was specifically geared toward that. So now we had an idea what we need to do for this guy. It's usually I'm so used to just, I'll train for everything and be ready for everything. But we know what they're going to do. We know what they're going to bring to the table. Wonderboy's not going to sit there, pull guard, or shoot a takedown on me. So it was more not comforting, but it's we know what we have to prepare for and the style that we have to beat.
And being a fan of the sport the way you are and an analyst, I mean, what do you think the biggest key is fighting a guy like Wonderboy? Is it the physical techniques they're using? Is it more like the mental approach? Because he kind of tries to put you in some weird spots, right, and kind of get you thinking wrong.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of guys get stuck looking at him, watching him. You get stuck watching, and then all of a sudden he hits you with something. And you're like, all right. And then all of a sudden he gives you a high five, and you're like, hey, are you my friend? And then he hits you in the face with a foot uppercut, and you're like, yo, hey, buddy, well, you just said we're friends, but all right. But, the biggest thing for me is just staying poised and staying disciplined to what my game plan is, having the right team around me, the coaches that are going to be in corner screaming out the code words and telling me what I need to do to center me again. Because, I've talked to a lot of guys. I've been through I've seen Woodley have 2 camps at Rufus Sport fighting for him. I've seen Anthony Pettis have a camp at Rufus Sport fighting for him. So I've seen what they've done, and to be able to have those guys in my back pocket, or I call Anthony and ask him, yo, what did you see here? What did you do here? And he gives me his tips and his ideas. So it's been cool to see that and experience that and have those guys with me.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, I mean, this would be a huge win for you, another proven commodity. I mean, do you think about rankings and where this puts you and what comes next with it?
Yeah, it's one of those, I mean, the only guy who's beaten him in the last whatever years is either the champion or Gilbert Burns, who's fought for the title. And he's fought for the title twice. So if he fought for the title twice, I just beat Maya, who fought for the title twice. But Labib needs to fight for the title once.
Hey, Belal, have you picked a song for Kayla to sing?
I did the poll on Twitter, and Island Boys is going hot right now. So I'm excited for that one. I want to see her vocals. I was like, yeah, I got to do it after fight week, though. Maybe I'll put on the show, but I got to go live with it. I got to pick a funny one that's going to make it awkward for her, because she seems like she's talking like she has a good voice. But I'm like, all right, nobody's going to sound good singing Island Boys.
That's awesome. And then just talk about, you're sharing a card with GM3 and just how that makes you feel.
It feels great, to have a teammate like that, a guy like that who's taught me so much. A lot of guys don't know how good he really is and how even good of a coach he really is. So, I was able to go down there a couple times to train with them and work with them. And now that he's on the right track, where he just beat a crazy prospect right now. He's looking good. He's about to get a 3-fight. I know you're on a 3-fight win streak. Comeback fighter of the year, honestly. That he's starting to get the respect that he deserves, and people don't realize it. But like having guys like that, I've been with Lewis Taylor, who never got the respect he deserved, and then all of a sudden he won the PFL middleweight championship when there was years where he thought he was going to be done with. Now people are starting to realize that the guys I'm training with, the team that I have around me, the circle I have around me, they're all monsters, they're all beasts, and we're all starting to see it.
Yeah, and then just on that, finally, Ignacio had the knockout of the year, basically, and then you had a couple teammates on the Contender Series win a contract. Could kind of just talk about that and just
Juliana Pena just beat the GOAT.
And Juliana.
Yeah, like I said, we're a small team in Chicago, and now we got a world champion there. We got somebody that, she trains in American Top Team with the biggest gym in the world with all the money behind them, and we're just a small team in Chicago, Illinois. We got like 20 people on the mat every single day, and it just shows that we're doing the right things. It tells me I'm in the right place. I get guys and teammates and stuff, because I'm one of those guys that I like to move around. I like to train with other teams when I'm visiting or something like that. And you get guys, oh, dude, we have so many guys here. Come and train here or come and train there. But we have a small circle, and we're like so tight-knit that we're all doing the right things. We're all helping each other. And like you said, now we got 2 guys just got signed off Contender Series now. Now people are starting to realize that we got like 5 or 6 more guys that need to get signed. Sean Shelby's going to start seeing these guys. And my right-hand man, Horacio Gutierrez, just got signed to Eagle FC, so he's going to be fighting Renan Barao. So it's going to be a big year for us in the next couple of years.
Thank you.
Hey, Belal, we're here. I know you had volunteered when Masvidal fell out of the Edwards fight to get that rematch. Was that ever close to materializing? Was there even any discussions of that happening?
I was trying. When I saw that happen, I was like, oh, it's meant to be. Now this is 4 weeks out, because it's crazy. I literally didn't. We both like verbally agreed for the Wonderboy fight, but nothing happens till you get a contract. I never got a contract, and I was like, yo, what's happening with this? And I'm calling Ali, and I'm like, bro, I didn't get a contract yet. Is it coming? But like, oh yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know what they're doing. Blah blah blah. And then I saw that Leon fight. I'm like, yo, let me get the Leon fight. And then Kamzat chimed in like, oh, you guys want to fight me? And I'm like, all right, I'll fight you. And then all of a sudden, Wonderboy announced the Wonderboy fight. And then I was like, bro, did you get a contract? I didn't get a contract yet, but I was like, all right, I guess if it's good, let's start training for it. And then still didn't get a contract, and I was like, all right, what's really happening? And then I saw that I think he got a new deal, so I'm sure it had something to do with that. So, in the end, it all worked out. I'm fighting number 5 in the world, and I'm going to be right there, and there's like nothing. After beating him, they're like, I deserve that Leon fight. I deserve that Kobe Covington fight. There's not, oh, well, the rankings don't make sense now. You're number this, he's number this. I'll be on a 7-fight winning streak and number 5 in the world, and honestly, I deserve any of those top guys.
Do you still have that disdain for Colby Covington that you expressed on that same stage earlier this year?
Yeah, I truly dislike him. I don't like him. I hate him, and I just want to punch him in the face. So after beating this guy, then it's either Kobe or Leon, or in the words of Justin Gaethje, we riot.
So the Hamzat thing isn't of interest. It was just maybe in that moment when he said, I'll jump in and fight you guys. And
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of those where if somebody calls me out, I'm gonna respond. I'm always gonna be down to fight. Like even when I fought, I didn't. Kevin Lee called me out, and then I said, well, I'll fight you this time. And then my manager called me. He's like, brother, what are you doing? Accepting a fight with him on Twitter. I was like, yo, he called me out. He's like, brother, we're like, he's lost 4 or 5. We don't get nothing from this. I'm like, but I'm a fighter at heart. So anybody calls me out, like, I'm not gonna sit there and sit back. And honestly, Kamzat was one of those where he's the biggest name right now, the biggest star, that has the most momentum, the biggest hype. He has like the Conor McGregor hype, where it's like you beat him, you gain more from beating him than anybody else in the division, honestly. So like where he has this stigma of him being the boogeyman of how he just dominated everybody. So it's like you could beat a guy like that, you're the next star. You steal all of his hype, you steal all of his momentum. So I was like, why not? Like it would have made sense.
yeah, that seems like the right mindset to have. And last thing I want to ask you, I asked Angela Hill the same question when she was just up there. You're doing a lot of the analyst work and a lot of these broadcasts. What does it mean to you to be kind of one of the voices of the sport now? When the fans are tuning in, you're helping shape the narratives. You're, telling them what they need to think about these fights or breaking them down. What's that kind of been like for you, and what does it mean to you to be in that position?
Honestly, been amazing. It's been cool to just still be involved, even when like if I don't have a fight scheduled, to still just be in the apex, still get that feel for it. To help people, I've had people message me all the time. You're doing a great job, the way you explain this or that, and I bring a new style to it. Like, Cruz was talking about how DC. Well, you don't have to be funny, or I'm not a comedian. Why do I need to be a comedian? But it's like, I think with me, like I'm very analytical and like I'm just funny. I'm a down to earth guy that's just like a normal guy. I'm not a DC where I actually study, but I just make it fun.